Thank you so much to our choir for bringing us into the holidays and getting us ready for another morning. It's wonderful to have you here with us. As inspiring as that is, a couple nuts and bolts announcements at the beginning of this Yom Kippur day. First, for those of you who were not here at Rosh Hashanah, our Lifelong Learning Committee put together a wonderful program for the year. And while not everything is in this book, I'd say 80-90% is. We try to remain available for special opportunities. As you leave the sanctuary, please feel free. Please get one of these books for your family. It lists all of our speakers, our programs, our concerts, our guests, our movies, our conversations. We're going to devote at least 6 or 8 of our programs through music, art, cooking, film to exploring Israel this year. We're going to have classes at lunchtime in the evenings. We've got a group from Israel coming in to perform and sing music in November. We have a number of scholars in the community. We even have a man speaking about the story of his father who saved Jewish American soldiers fighting in World War II. It's a really incredible program. And if, you're not loving the sermon, you have my permission. Go grab a book, read the book, look like you're paying attention. You'll be finding out what's going on in the coming year. That'll be okay too. Secondly, a reminder to please turn off your cell phones unless you happen to have a ringer set to Kol Nidre. We'll give you slack for that. But that's it. No Avinu Malkeinu ringers. Yes, sir. Very good. And if not, Julio will record one for you during the break of services. And finally, it's a long day and a reminder. 1, the service is being streamed in our new and refurbished library. We have a big flat screen there and beautiful high-def TV. I either look better or worse, depends, I don't know. But that's in the library at any time. And a couple of our members last night said they were confused about where to find the service. So if you have someone who is ill, infirm, just couldn't get here, and you want to let them know, do know that our services are streamed today. We are all streamed, and they just have to go to the Beth-El homepage, and there on the left side is a place to click, and they can watch any of our services, including the ones they missed if they so wish. As we join together, of course, we invite you to come and go as you please. This is a long day. It concludes with a break fast at 6 o'clock, and you are welcome to come anytime. As I said yesterday, we don't judge you today, even though it is the day of judgment. Whenever you can be with us, at any point between now and 6, you will see in the little pamphlet, we have a program of music. We have a class with my father on Moses and Tshuva in the library, a concert in the chapel with Danielle Lieben, a world-class pianist. We have an art exhibit in the boardroom, the work of Julie Lazarus, and we have an exhibit from our historical society outside the chapel. And so we join together this day. We turn to page 170, Psalm 150, page 170, Psalm 150, an early morning psalm that reminds us of the joy when Jews gathered in the temple with all the instruments, with all of their joy, with all of their prayers and passion. What better way than to turn to 173 and 174? If our mouths were filled with song as the sea, our tongues with music like the crash of ocean waves, our lips with praise endless as sky above, our eyes aglow like sun and moon, how could we thank you enough? Shochein Ad is a division between the early morning preparation and the rest of our service. This traditional prayer speaks of the glory and awe of God. HaMelech HaYoshev Al Kisah Ram V'Nisa, enthroned beyond time and space. Shochein Ad prepares us for the liturgy, for forgiveness, for the work ahead.
ישרי תתעלה ודברי צדיקים תתברך שוכנה נרום נקדוש שמו שוכנה נרום נקדוש שמו לשון חסידי תתרומן וזכרת קדושים תתקדש שוכנת מרום נקדוש שמו או שוכנת מרום נקדוש שמו ודמחלות ריבלות עמך בית ישראל נרינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו שוכנת מרום נקדוש שמו או שוכנת מרום נקדוש שמו.
Bottom page 175. Baruch atah Adonai el melech gadol b'tishpachot el ha'odaot adon ha'niflaot habocher b'shirei zimra melech elchei ha'olamim. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign of praise, source of the impulse to give thanks, crown of wonders, who desires a world filled with song and a universe of love. Page 176, the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה ועלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעלמין כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה da miran belma, veimeru, amen.
We turn to page 178. We rise for the Baruch Hu. We remain standing through Shema.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Page 179. In this circle of community, in this hour of striving for faith, I believe in your majesty, your guiding presence within me. To you I turn on this day of the Spirit, seeking atonement, longing to hear your words, I forgive. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto. We continue together. Holy One of might, your towering strength reaches from heaven's height to the human heart. Holy One of mercy, your forgiveness is profound. It embraces all who turn to you. Holy One of Torah, the secrets you impart are radiant. They reach your people, your cherished ones. Blessed is God's glorious majesty. Holy One of the heart, you forgive us in our weakness. You pardon us in our fear. Holy One of strength, we praise your powers, the wonders of creation and redemption. Holy One of remembrance, you remember us with love, taking delight when we search our souls. Blessed is God's glorious majesty. Holy One of the Spirit, you accept our fast of repentance and breathe into us purity and goodness. Holy One of conscience, you remove our wrongs and reveal the way of righteousness. Holy One of existence, your light is the glory of creation. Your mercy endures forever. Blessed is God's glorious majesty. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto. In this circle of community, in this striving for faith, I believe in your majesty,
your guiding presence within me. To you I turn on this day of the Spirit, seeking atonement, longing to hear your words. I forgive.
Page 186, we join together in the words of Shema.
Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Le'alam Va'ed. Listen, Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Page 189, please be seated as we read responsively, what does God ask of us? When you love Adonai Elohecha, body and soul, these things I ask of you will be possible.
To answer your children's questions about me and believe your answers yourselves. To connect religion to your everyday comings and goings. For example, when you hug them in bed at night with tender words, Shema Israel, or when you think to say Modeh Ani in the rush of getting them up and out in the morning. To be alert enough to open doors for your children in every waking moment and when they dream. And finally, to remember just why all these things matter. They matter because I, Adonai Elohecha, brought you and your children out of Egypt to be God for you. I am your God, and when you do these things, I will be your children's God.
Page 197, responsively. Who is like you among the silent, mute, and inscrutable? You witness our pain. Once upon
a time, the sea was split, and Israel marveled at your outstretched arm. How many have cried out since then? How many have sunk beneath the waves?
Centuries of innocent blood, lives lost to hunger, war, to cruelty or indifference, and those who died with your names on their lips, still they perish in distant lands. Still they languish on our chilly streets.
Your creatures are drowning even now, so why should we sing?
Ever silent, hiding out in history. You have your reasons, or so they say. You left us on our own, so let us give you leave. Withdraw into yourself, withhold your saving power.
And we will live on memories of joy, and stubborn and stiff-necked, we cling to hope, and gather strength to fight the pharaohs when we must, and hold fast to freedom, and celebrate in song, and vow that we will never be among the silent.
Page 198 through page 202, we come to tefillah, we come to our center, this middle point in the service in which we turn toward God. We are awakened, we are ready. We think about the work that has to be done, and a reminder that there are additional passages that are added to tefillah on this holiday. Unatana Tokef, perhaps the most challenging, which speaks of God awakened as we are God, with a book that records our deeds. And yet troubling as this passage is, we know another year has passed. Illness, loss, missed opportunities, and gained ones. And so we begin by asking, are we awake? And then we listen to the words of Unatana Tokef, which ask us what we would do if we had one more hour, one more day, one more week, or one more year. Can we live, perhaps not every moment in a state of constant awareness, but once in a while, maybe once a day, can we face our families, our communities, completely aware and ready? Please rise.
Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lie, 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 yada lie, 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 Yalalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, lai. Adonai tafatitak, ufi ita hilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise, so I may declare. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, v'imotei, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagbor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Tzochei Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Kozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah.
Turn to page 204. Together in English. Your life-giving
power is forever, Adonai.
One,
with us in life and in death, you liberate and save, cause dew to descend, and with mercy abundant, lovingly nurture all life. From life to death, you are the force that flows without end. You support the falling, heal the sick, free the imprisoned and confined. You are faithful even to those who rest in the dust. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs. Sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Merciful God, who compares with you? With tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Wellspring of blessing, power eternal, you are the one who gives and renews all life.
Page 207. Who by fire, who by water, who in the sunshine, who in the nighttime, who by high ordeal, who by common trial, who in your merry, merry month of May, who by very slow decay, and who shall I say is calling? Who in her lonely ship, who by barbiturate, who in these realms of love, who by something blunt, who by avalanche, who by powder, who for his greed, who for his hunger, and who shall I say is calling? Who by brave ascent, who by accident, who in solitude, who in this mirror, who by his lady's command, who by his own hand, who in mortal chains, who in power, and who shall I say is calling? O sovereign God of pardon and forgiveness, let these words of sanctity ascend to you. page 208. Seated for a moment. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and you seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten, and when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. And so a great shofar will cry Tekiah, and a still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, Behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged in your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world shall pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments. Page 212. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on the fast of Yom Kippur it is sealed.
Mi Hanukkah, mi vaskila, Rosh Hashanah, Noach, mi shaket, mi atovav, mi shalev, mi yitzasar.
Page 215, together at the top. And let us give ourselves over to the power of this day. And let us give ourselves over to holiness and awe. And let us calm the voice of dread and fear. And let us submit to the power beyond and within. And let us take the path of sincere return. And let us give ourselves over to prayer of the heart. And let us feel the pull of righteousness. And let us feel the
ourselves over to the still small voice. And let us awaken to the wholeness of the body and soul. And let us awaken to the wholeness of thought and deed. And let us see in the darkness a doorway of hope. And let us give ourselves over to the power of this day.
Page 218, we rise for Kedusha, the prayer of sanctification.
Nekadesh, Nekadesh, Nekadesh et shimcha ha'olam, Nekadesh et shimcha ha'olam, ki shem shemak tishim oto bishmei marom. Kakatuv al yad niviecha v'charazel ze ve'amar. Adireinu ir adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir, Ma'adir, Shimcha b'chaaretz. Yashmienu berachamav l'nei kol chai ani Adonai Elohechem.
Please be seated. We turn to page 232. Eloheinu v'Eloheinu Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and may the memory of your people, the family of Israel, may we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life, for peace on this day of atonement. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova. Amen.
Amen.
Uvagdenu vo livracha.
Amen.
V'hoshienu vo l'chaim. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Uvidvar Yeshua v'rachamim chus v'chanenu v'rachem aleinu v'hoshienu ki elecha enenu ki el melech hanun v'rachum atah. Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us the depth of your care. God, we await your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion. Page 234. Our God and God of our fathers and mothers, pardon our failings on this day of atonement. Erase our misdeeds. See beyond our defiance. The top of page 235. It is not easy to forgive God. It takes effort. It is painful, contradictory, and maddening. The human suffering that surrounds us feels utterly unforgivable. But I will forgive God because I do not want to write off the relationship, because I feel there's too much to be lost simply by walking away, because I want my children to develop their own relationship and come to their own conclusions, because despite the pain and the sorrow and the suffering, I want my universe full of miracles, not void of them, because I do not want to be one more angry old cynic in the world. I want to believe a God still calls out from Sinai, from heaven, That is why I will forgive God. I want to engage in all the eternal conversations with ancestors and sages. Despite it all, I want to live my life in praise and awe, in wonder and in hope. Even if I am wrong, even at the end, there is nothing but darkness. We take time, a moment of silence, before we face the open ark, before we face Avinu Malkeinu, before we come before God and our families and our communities. A moment of silence. Page 252, we rise before the open ark.
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu L'fanecha Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'aleinu Ve'tapenu
Avinu Malkeinu
Avinu Malkeinu Kotlenu Besefer Chaim Tovim Avinu Malkeinu Kadesh Aleinu Kadesh Aleinu Shana Tova
Avinu Malkeinu Avinu Malkeinu Kadesh Aleinu Shana Tova
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu Shema Kolenu Shema Kolenu
Together, Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lifanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Vi'al Ol Aleinu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Deve V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu,
halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, kalei kol tsar umastin me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain
and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, katvenu b'sefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, malei yadenu bibirchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu, harim keren mishichecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu, na'al teshivenu reikam milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing.
Avinu Malkeinu, kabel barachamim uvratzon et tefilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu lema'an shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lemancha im lo lemanenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ele ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu, patach sha'arei shamayim litfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu, shema kolenu chus v'rachem aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, 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 ki emanu nasim, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Page 254, responsively. As we prepare to take the Torah out of the ark, we also ask Scott Sloter and Gary Goldstein to join us on the bima for the Torah scrolls we will carry upstairs, and we thank them for their behind-the-scenes service so that others may worship and join with us, and we thank them for all their hours of help for the congregation. Responsively, let the reading of Torah be like prayer, a meditation to remind us what we strive for, a chant that binds us to the chain of good generations.
Let the reading of Torah be like prayer, a moment of purest solidarity with our people's hopes and histories, an invitation to affirm or dissent, to challenge or believe, to ask why or say amen.
Let the reading of Torah be like prayer, flowing like waters that renew the spirit, refreshing and sweet to nourish the soul.
Let the reading of Torah be like prayer, every word a blessing, every verse a conversation with God.
Page 256, as Moses turned toward God and heard these words, we too hear them now.
Adonai, erachum rachanum, erech apayim varachesed ve'emet, notzer chesed la'alafnim, nose avon v'fesha, v'chata'av v'naqeh. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Israel b'Kidushato. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'norah shemo. Gadlu Adonai iti
Romema Shemo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai Hagdula v'Hagdula v'Havtiferet v'Hanetzach v'Havod. Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehakosho. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kora Shema, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kora Shema. Romamu, again.
Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishtatavu, v'ha'ai kosho. Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishtatavu, v'ha'ai kosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Romamu. Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'nishtatavu, v'ha'ai kosho.
So many Torahs coming and going in different directions. Okay. What? Wonderful, Jim. I need to call you up. You're here ready to go. Yeah, Maud, it's wonderful, Jim, to have you up here with us. And Angie is our Torah reader. The blessing for the reading of Torah can be found on page 258, should you wish to follow along. And the Torah portion that Angie will be reading from can be found on page 266 in the prayer book, should you wish to follow along in Hebrew or in English there.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch
Adonai Hamvarah le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachavanu mikol ha'amim, v'natalanu Torah et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem livnei Adonai Elohechem rashechem shivtechem ziknechem v'shotrechem kol ish Yisrael tapechem neshechem v'gercha asher b'kerev machanecha mechotev eitzecha ad shoeb meimecha leovrecha bivrit Adonai Elohecha uvalato asher Adonai Elohecha koreit imcha hayom lema'an hakimotcha hayom lo le'am vehu yelecha le'elohim ka'asher diber lach וכאשר נשבע לאבותיך, לאברהם, ליצחק ויעקב. ולא איתכם לבדכם, אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת ואת העלה הזאת. כי את אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו, ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natalanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata v'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Jim. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. As we reflect on the Torah portion that speaks of all who are with us today, and as it reminds us that it is the blessing and the burden. We don't get to say, a long time ago a bunch of Jews made a covenant. It is ours to keep, ours to commit to. And yet we know, even as we read the words, you stand here with me today. There are those who are not able. There are those who are ill. And they are in our prayers, in our thoughts, our hearts. And so as we turn to page 273, we include them in a prayer of healing before we dress the Torah.
Please join us in singing the Mishaberach.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Mekor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We call up Judith Cohen to help us dress the Torah. We turn to page 274. I ask the congregation to please rise.
V'sot ha'Torah shesam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael. Api Adonai b'yad Moshe. Lai, 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 lai,
We continue with the Haftarah, our additional reading. The blessing is on 275. Cindy at Robert Simon will be leading us on the blessings before and after the Haftarah reading. The Haftarah is on page 277, and it will go without saying the words of Isaiah, who challenge us to do more than just outward symbols, fasting, crying, but change who we are on the inside. That becomes our reading for this Yom Kippur day. And we call up Corey Mandel right there. I knew you were up here somewhere, to read the Haftarah to us after our blessing.
275. Ready? 275. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim, v'ratzah v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher v'torah, u'v'Moshe avdo, u'v'Yisrael amo, u'v'nvi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen. Cry from the depth, says God. Do not hold back. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Tell my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sin. Yes, they seek me daily, as though eager to learn my ways, as if they were a nation that does what is right and has not abandoned God's law. They ask of me the right way, eager for God's nearness. They say, "Why did we fast and you do not see it? We afflict ourselves and you do not know it." Because even on your fast day, you think only of desire, while oppressing all who work for you. Because your fasting is filled with strife, and with callous fist you strike. No, your fasting this day will not lift up your voice before heaven. Is this the fast I desire? A day to afflict body and soul? Bowing your head like a reed, covering yourself with sackcloth and ashes. Do you call this a fast? A day worthy of the favor of Adonai? Is not this the fast I desire? To break the bonds of injustice and remove the heavy yoke, to let the oppressed go free and release all those enslaved. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and to take the homeless poor into your home and never to neglect your own flesh and blood? Then shall your light burst forth like the dawn, and your wounds shall quickly heal. Your righteous one leading the way before you, the presence of Adonai guarding you from behind. Then, when you call, Adonai will answer, and when you cry will respond, I am here.
Page 280. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Sur kol ha'olamim, Sadik v'chol ha'dorot, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, Ha'omer v'oseh, Ha'medaber u'mekayem, Shekol davarav, Emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah, V'al avodah, V'al hanbi'im, V'al yom ha'kippurim hazeh, Shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Limchila v'lislecha, U'lecha para, V'chavod u'letifaret. Al ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu modim lach, U'mevarchim otach, Yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai, Tamid le'olam va'ed, U'divarcha emet v'kayam la'ad, Baruch atah Adonai, Melech mochel v'soleach la'avonotenu, v'la'avonot amo Beit Yisrael, u'ma'avir ashmotenu, v'chol shana v'shana, Melech al kol ha'aretz, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom ha'kippurim.
We continue returning the Torah to the Ark. We turn to page 290 and we rise. We offer a prayer before the open ark. We pray for our country. May it be strong and safe and caring and kind. We pray for the state of Israel. May it be safe, and may it meet the needs and demands of its people, be a light to the nations, a guiding force for good for the world. We pray for our families and communities. May we aspire to be our best selves. Please be seated. Imagine a country built by the survivors of terrible tragedies, survivors of not just one unthinkable calamity in one land, but the baggage of centuries of persecution, misfortune, and multiple acts of genocide. Imagine these people arriving from war-torn countries with nothing but the shirts on their backs and being asked to build a nation in the desert. Imagine a country built by young dreamers, many from cities who knew nothing of agriculture, but who left their homes freely to drain swamps, plant trees and crops, to attempt to build a utopian society in a new part of the world they had never even seen. Imagine a country built by academics who theorized about the perfect society and suddenly had to create their own government from scratch with no experience and no room for error. Imagine a country built by religious people who thought that God had called them to witness the rebuilding of the ancient temple in Jerusalem, and to do it alongside secularists who believed in a utopian and socialist society. Put all these people together, all of their different languages, all of them with different experiences and customs and cultures, mix them up and ask them to become one unified country, and stick them in a piece of land surrounded by enemies who want to drive them into the sea. Impossible. And yet it happened in our lifetime. Israel is a modern miracle and a major source of frustration. And Israel's complicated It's so hard to get our American heads around. Israel is a religious country created as a safe haven for the Jewish people. That means, let's think about that. That means that any Jew can move to Israel at any time. You might have to jump through a lot of bureaucratic red tape, but in the end, you're already a citizen of Israel if you want to be one. That's incredible. Only a minority who has been persecuted for 2,000 years could come up with such an idea. It means that Israel is also committed to being a democracy. It has been committed to equal rights for its non-Jewish citizens for 70 years. It means that all Israelis are required to serve in the military except for two groups, Israeli Arabs and Orthodox Jews, who is studying Torah as their lifelong vocation. One group is exempted for security reasons, and the other one's exempted for religious reasons. It means that Arab Israelis can and do form their own political parties in a government where the national anthem speaks of the dreams of the Jewish people. For 2,000 years, Jews the world over have prayed for our own safe place. And in our lifetimes, that's happened. Incredible. But it also means that our Israeli brothers and sisters have to live with some hard choices that we as a diaspora people don't really have to think about. It might be hard, sometimes very hard, to live as a minority in someone else's home. For those of you who had to do hoops to get school absence letters, that's but a tiny example. But it's still easy to be an idealist about Judaism when you're not in charge. Hard to be a Jew in Fort Worth? Try making decisions in a country that is the home of all the Jewish people. Imagine working in the government and trying to balance the budget and make peace, not only between Arabs and Jews, but a whole planet of Jews who can't agree on anything. And all the while knowing that the future and safety of every Jew is in your hands. Israel lives in a state of constant argument about what it wants to be when it grows up. And many of its decisions contradict one another on a regular basis. It is an ancient homeland for millions of Jews and a modern state that has to pay its bills and feed its people, protect its borders. One day, it's sending resources to rescue people around the world they've never met. At times, people, they hate them from floods and natural disasters. And the next day, it's confiscating land and destroying olive trees on Palestinian land because they might pose a security threat one day in the future and be used to stage terrorist attacks. One day, it argues for equal rights of LGBTQ, and by the way, its policies are much more progressive than those of the United States. The next day, it denies a Reformed Jew the right to get married because according to the official government rabbis, he or she did not convert properly in the U.S. I know you're getting tired of the word by now. Israel is verblunget. Those of you who aren't here on Rosh Hashanah are like, what the heck is this guy doing? And I can't decide if everyone's going to use this word for me for the next year or no one's ever going to use this word. Every citizen of Israel has a different idea of what kind of country it should be. It's almost impossible to form a governing coalition with 61 seats. And we know about Labor and Likud. But did you know that they have parties as diverse as United Torah Judaism, a party devoted to legalizing cannabis, and a party that wants to remove all the Arabs from Israel? One-issue parties. There are political parties run by Arab Israelis, and there's even a political party devoted to the teaching of Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, who's been dead for 208 years. How have they managed to form a governing coalition for 70 years? Well, they've had a lot of elections, but they have managed to do it under extraordinary circumstances. And wait a minute, We're just as farblungent in America. Who am I to judge what is a functional country? Leave Israel alone and worry about America, except I can't, and you can't. We can't because our faith places us in covenant with this sacred land. We can't because for 2,000 years, our ancestors have dreamed and prayed to go back to Israel. For these final few moments of our Farblungen-themed High Holy Days, I'm not bringing it up at Yisker, I want to talk to you about how Farblungen our relationship with them is as American Jews, our relationship to Israel. There are multiple groups in America with multiple agendas when it comes to Israel, and our allegiance is the prize. There was a time when Israel was a younger country, and most Americans with recent memories of the devastation of the Holocaust, the almost certain destruction of Israel during the Six-Day War, felt a deep, impenetrable bond with the country. There was a time when American Jews had a deep connection with Israel. Now, for many, Israel is just one more source of debate. One more argument that puts American against American, Jew against Jew. So yes, today we're not really talking about Israel. Today we're talking about us and Israel. So what's going on here? Well, first, a few things. Jews under age 45 have never known a world without Israel, or even a world without a strong Israel. For them, it's not a nation of victims who bonded together under the most extreme circumstances, but a tech giant with a huge military, a first world country with top medical care, great universities, amazing beaches. If you visit Israel, it doesn't feel like a struggling little nation. And when Israel comes up for discussion here, it's usually in the form of a passionate argument. Israel is the oppressor, Israel is the victim. Israel didn't start the fight, but could Israel finish the fight? And then there are the many, many, many groups with their own agenda. AIPAC and J Street and the Conference of American Jewish Organizations. Political groups like the Republican and Democratic National Committees that use our feelings toward Israel to divide us in the name of winning elections. And by the way, it works. So you can't blame them for trying. And then there are all the Christian organizations, too many to name here, but the most famous being Christians United for Israel, that have their own agenda. And I don't blame them. They do great work raising millions of dollars for Israel. But their agenda is different than mine. And by the way, Christian evangelicals give far more money to Israel than American Jews these days. Just something to think about. Christian evangelical fundraising divisions are the fastest growing divisions in AIPAC, Israel Bonds, and other development organizations. That's just not advertised in synagogues. And then there's BDS, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction movement that wants schools, companies, and governments to divest from anyone that does any business with Israel. And then there are important countermeasures, such as the bill in Texas that was created to ask to require the state only to do business with countries that do not get involved in the divestment movement. And I'm not going to discuss all these organizations right now because it would be a very long Yom Kippur. But I am scheduled to do so at a future Sunday morning class, shameless plug, and I'm happy to discuss it during a break or any time this year or at the break fast. Because at the moment, understanding who these organizations are and what their agenda is actually not our biggest problem. They know what their mission is, and they're all doing a great job trying to fulfill it. And the arguments we have all bear testament to their success. The problem for American Jews is that when we discuss Israel, the debates over security and equality and religious freedom and anti-Semitism and media bias are all we discuss. If you're a young person, as we've already learned too well this past decade, and you walk into this debate without any other connection to Israel, you'll just tune out. If your primary form of Israel education is to understand every nuance of the boycott, divestment movement, or which politician is pro-Israel and which one isn't, and you see a fight on campus, you won't join the anti-Israel protests. You won't join the pro-Israel protests. You'll just walk away and tune out. How do you fight for someone or something you don't have a relationship with? I love America. Hoping you do too. Some days, it feels like I don't. But I'm not suddenly leaving America. I'm not giving up because I agree with one politician or one party or one power or one decision. This is my home. You don't leave things you love. You fight for them. But in our far bludgeoned way of looking at the world, we're asking our kids and our members of all ages to fight for something before they fall in love with it. The answer is not more anti-BDS emails or training sessions. I'm sorry. The answer is helping our young people and all our members to fall in love. Israel is a dream. Israel is a place also with real people and real problems. See, but for some of us, Israel is that first crush in high school. It was amazing. She could do no wrong. She walked on water. But you realized pretty quickly it wasn't real. If anybody's scratching their heads and saying, oops, I'll talk to you later. And some of us as American Jews still have a crush on Israel. But it's not a real relationship. It has no depth or dimension. Some of us, when we were young, were taught that Israel's perfect. And then we learned it wasn't. And we were devastated. But most of us eventually realized we had to do the work to build a new relationship. Sort of like the first time you fall in love and you have that perfect image of the other. And then, pardon the example, but you find out they go to the bathroom just like you. Now you have a choice. That important relationship moment. You can love them for being as human as you, for their flaws, or you realize you never really loved them the way you thought you did. We cannot and must not teach perfection. We have to teach reality for the future of the Jewish state and our relationship with it. On the 70th year of the life of the modern state of Israel, we as American Jews have to commit to meeting Israel again, to falling in love the right way for the first time. And that means celebrating her stories and learning to cook her dishes and watching her movies and reading her books. And yes, not shying away from the critical ones, because we're trying to build a healthy relationship, not a crush that is fleeting. And encouraging our children to learn about the nuances of each argument and having thoughtful, in-depth conversations with them. Not being afraid to acknowledge that there are deep inequalities alongside inspiring stories. And most of all, someone's always thinking, what's it going to cost us? The rabbi. Visiting. Visiting more than anything. How do you fall in love with someone you've never met? I guess some mail-order brides work. It happens at the movies all the time. We look at that image of perfection on the screen and we go, oh, I wish I met him or her. But it's not real. They're not like that. It's a script. It doesn't last. I know Israel's far away and it's expensive, and there are many great opportunities and challenges and competitions for our time. Our Israel is going on an interfaith trip in a year. And many other groups in Dallas and Fort Worth have trips, including our Jewish Federation that plans leadership trips that are subsidized and run on a regular basis. Birthright Israel offers free trips to Israel for college students and young adults, even if they've been on a trip with you. Which means that if half our young people have not taken up the offer of a free 2-week trip to Israel, I can't come up with a single good reason why. Free? 2 weeks? What's the problem? And for some of us, I know travel is hard. But if If you've been to Europe or Asia or India or Disney World with a family of 4 or 5 more than once, and you still haven't considered Israel, I can only ask why. Yes, it's a long pain-in-the-neck flight. The movies on LR aren't as good, but there are other airlines. And there'll be jet lag and bad airplane food. And maybe you think if you can only take one long-distance flight every few years in your lifetime, it's just not as impressive as the opera halls of Europe. And you might be right. But for 2,000 years, our people suffered and prayed and died, hoping to catch a glimpse. And we live in this time. And talking to Israelis here in the States is not going to cut it. They don't understand why you don't understand. But trying to ask you to fall in love with Israel without ever having been there is like describing the best restaurant and hoping the person will agree with you because they like you without ever tasting the food or smelling the smells or seeing the beautiful furnishings. You're just pretending to make them feel happy. And no matter how good our school or any religious school, you can't teach someone to love a person or place they've never seen. Not in a way that's meaningful. Before we teach them to fight for a dream, let's teach them to fall in love. Maybe our New Year vow is to fall in love again for the first time. In 1967, Naomi Shemer tried to write a song about a dream of Jerusalem, using words from the book of Lamentations and Psalms. Only a few weeks after finishing it, the city of Jerusalem was united. She heard soldiers singing her song, and she knew she had to add some verses and go back and write again.
Almighty, the ray of
transitioning from that to the vidui. I'm trying to get there. As we think of the work that needs to be done, we know the door is always open to forgiveness if we but enter it. And that is the work of the day. We will be here all day for those who wish. There will be discussion groups and afternoon services where congregants share their stories. And Yisker and Neila. Come at any time, but somewhere in the middle of this day, surely there must be someone you must ask for forgiveness. Someone, something you've been avoiding. Surely we can make time today as we turn to our confessional on page 293. And we read together. Because I was angry, because I didn't think, because I was exhausted and on edge, because I had been drinking, because I can be mean, because I was reckless and selfish, because I was worried about money, because my marriage was dead, because other people were doing it, because I thought I could get away with it, because I did something wrong, because I'm in pain, because I wish I could undo it, because I hurt him, because I lost your trust, because I let them down, because I was self-destructive, because I was foolish, because I'm ashamed, because I'm afraid.
That's not who I am, because that's not who I want to be, because I want to be forgiven. God, bring down my walls of defensiveness and self-righteousness. Help me to stay in humility. Please give me the strength to do what's right.
Page 296. We rise. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu tavo lefanecha tefilatenu v'al titale mitchinatenu anachnu azei panim ukshe oref lomar lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu tzadikim anachnu v'lo chatanu aval anachnu chatanu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin, but in truth we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ashamnu, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Gazalnu, Bidibarnu Dofi, Bidibarnu Dofi, Yai, 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 yai. Ay, 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 Evinu, Evinu, Virshanu, Virshanu, Zadnu, Zadnu, Hamasnu, Hamasnu, Tafanu Sheker, Talfanu Sheker. Ay, 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 Kizanu, Kizavnu, Latnu, Latnu, Maradnu, Maradnu, Niatnu, Niatnu, Sararnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Avinu, Pashanu, Pashanu, Tararnu, Tararnu, Kishinu Oref, Kishinu Oref, Yai, 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 Rashanu, Rashanu, Shichadnu, Shichadnu, Tiavnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Tainu, Titanu, Titanu, Yai, 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 yai.
Please be seated. We turn to page 300 and we join together. The ways we have wronged you under duress and by choice, and harm we have caused in your world consciously and unconsciously, together. The ways we have wronged you through our thoughtlessness, and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice. The ways we have wronged you by abusing our power, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through inflexibility and stubbornness.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and the harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters.
The ways we have wronged you in our routine conversations, and harm we have caused in your world through envy.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Slichot, salach lanu, bechal lanu, kape lanu, mal kolam, Slichot, slach lanu, mechal lanu, slach lanu, mechal lanu, kape lanu.
Page 304 and then 306. The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we've caused in your world by hating without cause.
The way we have wronged you by losing self-control, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and the harm we have caused in your world by hardening our hearts.
The ways we have wronged you through greed and exploitation, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
The ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and the harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
The ways we have wronged you by offering or accepting bribes, and harm we have caused in your world by profaning your name in public.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. As we reflect on this day, a call again to take time for reflection, whether in our gardens here, even in the heat, or the programs that are inside your pamphlet. On the cover, we have some wonderful programs and opportunities. Taking time just to make a call or reflect, looking at some of the other readings in this booklet, some of which will make you feel better, some of which will make you feel worse. But remember, Yom Kippur is not about feeling bad. Yom Kippur is about change and forgiveness and new opportunities.
Amen.
And so as this time draws to a close, I want to thank those on the Bima who worked their tails off to make this synagogue strong. We have a very small staff. A lot of you in the congregation who devote your time in so many ways. Each of you who helps to keep this temple strong, we are indebted to you. Work behind the scenes. We are appreciative. John, to this incredible choir and accompanists and singers and players, and the wonderful, wonderful experience you've created. We are so, so grateful. I'm sure I've forgotten somebody. I will mention our staff. A few of them some members of our choir eventually became Jewish, but actually now that I think about it, very few members of our full-time staff have. So if that tells you something about the preparations leading up to Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, some of them might be having a tequila today, the rest will be tomorrow. So we have an incredible staff, and they knock themselves out. And unlike me, they don't get to say, I'm leaving for 3 hours. I must be inspired and write a sermon. They have to answer all the phones. So when you see any of them, thank them. As we prepare for our conclusion on 3:10, a reminder that the day does not end, a reminder that you are welcome at any time. We see on 3:10 the liturgy of this day, God not only as a judge, but God as a shepherd. As we reflect on all the things we need to do, I'm happy to say we ended on time. One last thing I've got to say I'm sorry for today. We turn to page 310. Have an easy fast.
Anu amecha anu vanecha anu Halatecha
Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, who lived 250 years ago and has his own political party in Israel, taught, always look for the good in yourself. And remember, joy is not incidental to your spiritual quest. It is vital. So it is written in Isaiah, you will go out through joy and be led forth in peace. Focus on the good in yourself. Take joy in what is good, for only in that way will you be led forth from inner darkness. Have an easy day and a thoughtful fast.
Amen.